As you saw, the flags are indeed out in Clarion and the entire nation. It's a fitting tribute to those who have fallen, as well as those who continue in the relief efforts, and those who will work to protect us in the future.
Some of the most moving pictures to come out of New York last week were those of firefighters and other rescue workers trying to find any survivors. And in their attempts, many firefighters lost their lives.
We are aware of the special camaraderie that firefighters around the world have, and we wanted to hear how firefighters in Clarion are reacting to news of fallen comrades and those still searching for signs of life. We sent our Chris Portman to find out.
Fire departments around our nation are feeling the effects of the terror attacks last week. Clarion Fire Department is no exception.
A lot of what I'm hearing throughout our own department and talking to other firefighters within the county is a lot of sadness, for one thing, just thinking about the firefighters that were lost.
Firefighters across the nation are organizing to raise money for relief efforts.
And what we will be doing is Sunday through the Autorama from 9 to 5. We'll be stationed up on 5th and Main, and we'll have guys up there with boots collecting money for the relief funds for New York and Washington. And also on Craft Day Friday, we'll be in the same spot, 5th and Main, from 9 to 5, collecting money as well.
Fire Chief Clay Williams pointed out that the members of the Clarion Fire Department want to assist as much as possible.
Yeah, actually, throughout the county, there were several fire departments that have our names on a list, and Clarion does have their name on the list as well, that we wanted to go up, we wanted to do our part, help where we could, but at this time we know that they're just overwhelmed with volunteers. They're not taking any more volunteers at this point.
It's also been said that firefighters share a special bond. Chief Williams talked about that with me.
They are very much one of the things about the firefighters here as well as everywhere. We become quite a family in general, no matter whether you're here in New York, Washington, where you're at. The firefighters become quite a family, and even though we don't know each other by name and everything, it's still like one of our brothers or sisters is gone.
It's very clear that the Clarion Fire Department is taking an active role in the relief efforts.
Almost right from the time last week's attacks were identified as being acts of terrorism, people started talking.
And that talking included strong words about the attacks and America's future. Josh Alterman takes a look back at some of the opinion we heard last week.
A state of shock descended on the nation as a result of last Tuesday's attack on America. Reaction within the Clarion community has reflected this way.
Well, obviously, I have the same shock and horror that most everyone else in the country does at this point. I'm still a little in disbelief about the whole thing. What happened next?
It's just a sad time in our history, really, and it's a shame we had to lose so many lives in a day in such high technology. I can't understand why it happened.
I'm still stunned and hope that all of us find some ways to get past that and remember to treat each other, all of us, respectfully.
In the news, it became real, and I had feelings to make sure my family was okay, and they were in the loop on this and understood it. And I called my wife and went home to have lunch with my wife and kids to make sure the kids understood what was going on.
I'm sure I share the same sentiments as all Americans. It's pretty devastating to see what has happened in our world today. How could it happen, and why? How could it have been prevented?
Surprised and dismayed, the Clarion community looks forward to an uncertain future.
The American public has now had the opportunity to react to last week's events and begin formulating opinions.
Last night, Clarion University sponsored a debate to allow some open discussion about where America needs to go in its anti-terrorism campaign. Chelsea Donegan was there and brings us this story.
In the midst of the national rises, what is the nation to do in response to what has happened? Last night in Hart Chapel, 4 faculty members debated 2 options: whether to carry out extensive military attacks or to continue diplomatic efforts to bring those responsible to justice. President Reinhardt opened the debate introducing the speakers. The audience was made up of history majors, English students, and political science students, along with the debate team. Dr. Jamie Phillips was the first to speak. He believes the U.S. should respond to the attack with war.
To my mind, if a nation is attacked in a warlike fashion, then it is permissible, I think, for that nation to respond in a similar fashion.
Phillips believes we should get our military together and go to war. Strong words from opposing speaker Mr. Jim Lyle.
U.S. military intervention is likely to result in massive number of deaths, both of soldiers and innocent civilians. Additionally, there are extreme prospects for escalation of conflict, and these are both plausible and likely.
President Reinhardt let audience ask questions to the debaters.
I think it was a really fine debate. It was very lively. The audience was very engaged in the debate. We had 4 excellent debaters.
The debate allowed many people to think about the U.S. tragedy and what results they would like to see.
As we look back at this past week, we see many changes that have already happened, and we can already see many changes to come in the future. But America will move forward.
It is America's ability to continue on that has made this country what it is today.